Welcome back. In the few minutes we've got left, let me just get the final word from my guests, Ray, Mike, and Jean. Of course, we've been in conversation about how sport will survive the COVID-19 pandemic, but perhaps even if there was no pandemic, the huge numbers we see regularly in football and in American sports is unsustainable in the long run. Last year, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes signed a $400 million contract with the franchise. Sure, it's over a 10-year period, but it is still an eye-watering number, and the man is just these coming days in the Super Bowl to be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, gentlemen, and I want to start with you, Mike. We do know that there's a role the institutions have to play, the role that football teams, cricket teams, American football teams, baseball teams need to play. But what role does the fan play? Yes, she can't attend stadia and arenas, but what role can the ordinary citizen, sport-loving citizen play?
I think that there's been some incredible initiatives that we've seen. If we take running into consideration, if we looked at the way in which events have gone virtual, the Comrades last year, I look at the way in which that went virtual, and it had different segmentation in terms of distances to be run. People from all around the globe ran. They all participated. And even in terms of the actual revenue drivers for the Comrades, I think it was on a whole new record-breaking level for the brand. So I think that ultimately as fans, we want to feel immersed. We want to feel that experiential touch point. We want to feel like we can have the athletes sweating on us. Like that's the kind of proximity we want to the game. But I think for now, we have to leverage the opportunity to gain insider views through content, through social media, and through various platforms such as ours that we've created. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been an awesome discussion.
Jean, sports lovers across the globe were denied and starved of what they love the most for 3 months at least. We saw football coming back in Germany at least around June when it was suspended from March. Has COVID-19 essentially, evoked a different kind of, feeling towards sport? Are we now looking at sport differently? Are we loving sport a lot more than we used to? Or perhaps it has forced, the general citizen to just, say that I've managed to live without this for a couple of months. It's really not that important anymore.
That's a very good question. And, the thing is that fans around the world, how do you become a fan of a specific sport? You either participate in sport, and I think that's where a massive risk lies for what COVID has done. School kids not being able to participate in sport or take part at club level at the moment. Are they going to become football fans? Are they going to become rugby fans if they can't touch and feel a rugby ball at the age of 6, 7, 8, and then they can't experience it by going to a stadium with their friends or with their family or with their dad to become a fan of a specific sport. So that amateur side of things is a massive loss at the moment, and that could potentially be a big knock-on effect if we don't have a year or two of amateur sport, school-level sport, the grassroots side of sport, really taking place. On the other side, from a professional point of view, you've got to innovate and you've got to evolve from an agency side. From if you can't touch the fan, or if the fan can't touch your sport, if you can't touch the match ball, if you can't connect with the athletes, you're never going to get new fans. You're never going to, they're never going to watch a Soweto derby if they're not, the TV should be on right now, and you as a family should be sitting in front of the TV. And if it's not happening, you're not going to become a fan. So on that other side, you've got to innovate. Things like esports and the virtual side of things, have got a massive role to play to introduce the youth and the next generation of sports fans to that sport, and the sports that are going to evolve and adapt to that. You see the NBA and the NFL, really their kind of esports games and PlayStation games are really, really good. And so it's introducing people to that sport, and then you're going to watch the Super Bowl because you've played NFL or NBA 2K on your PlayStation the whole weekend. But if our other sports don't adapt to that, then you're going to not have that fan. And in 5, 6, 10 years' time, we're not going to have full stadiums again, and we're not going to have good television viewership numbers because those fans have found other interests. That sport is competing with everything out there. It's not just sports is not just the only form of entertainment for people. So we've really got to work hard as agencies and as rights holders, and come together and form these partnerships to make sure how do we ensure that we still have fans in 5 or 10 years time.
Ray, I leave the last word with you. Can the business of sport survive COVID-19? Will the business of sport survive COVID-19, and how?
It's up to us if we want it to survive. We all need to come together. And to Jean's point is that we all need to make sure that we stay innovative, and we need to understand that the world has slightly moved on from the traditional sports. Things like esports are going to be coming into play, how we move forward in that department. So it's really, like I said, it's down to us and how we stay ahead of the game. I think there's a lot of pressure on agencies to guide brands and to guide rights holders in the right direction, and to make sure that we use the tools around us, the global best practices, like Jean was alluding to, the way the NFL and the NBA have done it. How can we best take those learnings and bring them back home? Because I think what they've done really well is that they've ticked those consumer boxes. They've made it a lot easier for us as Africans to be able to enjoy the likes of the NFL and the NBA. So how do we bring that home, and how do we make sure that we're still boosting Africa and we make sure that Africa is still shining from a sporting context? Because that's my biggest concern, is that the rest of the world is like taking over the global airwaves from a sporting perspective. But we need to remember that we need to take care of Africa first, and that's the best way we're going to be able to achieve that.
And just before I let you go, actually, Mike, I want to bring in the athlete aspect to it here as well. We've, of course, mentioned that there is a role that institutions, athletes and fans need to play, but what specific role in this particular time now, if we're predicting that we're going to be going through this for quite a while longer, what role are athletes supposed to be playing now?
Athletes are the conduit. I mean, we want to support and back winners. Like, that's effectively the zeitgeist of the fan. You want to back the winners. You want to back a comeback story. That's why documentaries such as Tiger are exploding. Documentaries such as Drive to Survive, which I mentioned earlier. So we want to see the athletes through their trials and tribulations, because ultimately sport is a hero's journey. There are peaks, there are troughs, there are wins, there are losses, there are highs and there are lows. But the more that we can be invited into that world from the athlete, the more sticky we become as a fan to stay within that realm, and to stay there and wait and long for those opportunities when we can fill those stadia, drink our non-alcoholic beverages and live our best lives.
Ray Langa is the MD of Levergy. Mike Sharman is the co-founder of MatchKit, and Jean Villers is the MD of Nielsen Sports South Africa. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Some very insightful aspects to the business of sport and how it can survive, that it will actually survive, and what roles each stakeholder in the world of sport has to play to ensure that we do come out of COVID-19 a lot stronger as a sports industry. My name is Morena Mutupi. This was Inside Sport. Dudu Ramela is standing by to give you the latest news updates in just a short while. A very good afternoon.